Okay, we'll just, like usual, go questions in the chat. Coach, if you want to do a statement and go from there.
Sure. Pretty solid weekend or Thursday and Friday, I guess. A little rust after 8.5 months for our guys. So it was good to get through it. Definitely better application and energy the second night. I think that had a lot to do with kind of getting through the first night. And it's hard to approximate, playing a game in practice. I think you can get the tempo or the intensity, but kind of all the intangibles and the pressure and hey, just the strain, everything on top of it. But overall, we thought it was good. Our evaluation and after action report with the guys yesterday, just defensively, real good start. Young guys, I thought, had an understanding of what we wanted to do. Offensively, chances game one, I thought were just okay. We found ourselves on the perimeter a lot, not a lot of second chances. Didn't find our forwards really very well. So I thought we could have done some things better. But the second night was pretty good. And the numbers, when I go through and analyze them, we'll probably get more than 2 goals with the chances that we have there. But hey, that's where we're at. But power play, penalty kill, good and solid. Obviously, Drew in the pipes was outstanding. Those are kind of things you look for. And hey, all areas need to improve. And we took Saturday off, got back at it on Sunday, and we'll be out there in a little bit. But I think everybody's kind of going through that right now, just trying to get over that hump, get some games under our belt, and keep finding out more about ourselves and keep pushing forward.
Neil.
Danton, you've always talked about how Dennis Asana is such an elite defenseman, moving the puck, setting up goals, setting up offense. Whom on the back end with the young guys do you see as another player that could help the defense contribute to the offense?
Yeah, the 2 guys that were in this weekend, Aiden Gallagher and Ash Nineheis, they were both, in the USHL, which is the best league where we get guys out of, in the top 10 for defensemen and scoring last year. So I think there's a lot there with both of them. And, whenever that manifests itself, that's all right. I kind of, especially with the young guys, tend to work towards, hey, what are you doing and putting yourself in the right position. The points kind of take care of themselves. So hey, they need a little bit of work, just in terms of breaking out and getting pucks through the neutral zone and pucks on net and then some power play time. But those guys will contribute. And you didn't see him, but Paul Connor has done a really nice job on some power play stuff and moving the puck. And, he might be, and, Cal Dibbets would be the other guy that, is broad, different offensively. I think he'll find his way in being very good defensively and skating. And then eventually, I think, before he's done. So as a group, I really like those guys. But I'd say Aiden and Nash will be the ones that probably get on the board earlier and more often.
So you see the D as being a strength to contribute to the offense, set goals up.
Yeah, the old Fred Sherrill, thing, hey, if you can't break out, you can't score and you can't win. And that's where it all starts. And the D have to be good. And I thought we were okay. I'm a proponent of how you come out of your own end. And Lou and I and X went through a lot of the video and just talked a lot about it. And hey, we were okay, but there's too many times. If there's one forechecker, we should get out clean. And that's where I'm at. If there's 2, I even think then you break it down. So we'll get there. We by the certain point of every year we end up being, I think, a really good breakout team. And with 4 young guys, that takes a little bit. Krieger's getting a little bit more minutes now, and they're all of a sudden, you're instead of 15 or 16 minutes, you're 23, 24 minutes. That's a big difference. So we'll get there, and then I think that's a big part. And then offensively too is just being able to get the puck from the blue line on the net. And we've seen an awful lot of it in practice. Our guys are this group is better at it than what we've had before. And so we're excited to see that. I thought we were average. I'd say about the same as breakouts. And again, first game competition. But it is something that'll get better. And I like that. If we did everything the best the first weekend, what the hell do you need coaches for? So anyhow, that's what we're here. So, but hey, we're like everybody else, work in progress, but lots of stuff to hang our hat on right now.
Kyle.
You talked about the freshmen on the back end. Can you talk a little bit about the freshmen on the front end now that you've had time to let the dust settle on Hodges, Papp, and Haskins?
Yeah, you know what? I thought they mirrored the team, and that's not a coincidence. I mean, guys played better, and they were in that group the second night. And I thought there's a little hesitancy and some bobbled pucks and maybe not some right reads on Friday night. And they just had a quick 2 or 3 clips with all of them, and you go, hey, you can make this play, and harder here, and those tend to be the things. There's just the sense of urgency and the pace and the strength that older guys play with in college as opposed to junior. So, but I thought all 3 of them bumped up and played real well the next night. I mean, Kyle Haskins was real strong. He got an assist on the goal, but outside of that, he was driving. He was making good decisions. He was physical, shooting the puck. He rang one off the pipe. Did a real nice job. AJ created quite a bit, and I think he's going to continue to do that, and made some nice plays, and was real good. And then Kristoff, I thought, felt better physically, and he won some more battles, and even in transitional offense when he ended up getting the puck and getting the shot on net when Louis scored and getting an assist was a nice play that I think the night before he might not have made. He might have been a little hesitant and not jumped through that play quick as he did. So yeah, no, I thought they all bumped up a little, and freshmen are gonna. It's not a straight shot. It's the line of improvement, it goes up and down. It's kind of like the stock market. I mean, over time it ends up going up, but there's some days, and hey, they're going to go through them. But they did a nice job, and they handled getting better the second night, which is what we really we asked of them.
Sam.
So kind of looking ahead towards next weekend, Ohio State was obviously a tough out for you guys last year. So why do you think that it'll maybe be different this weekend, assuming you're maybe a little bit optimistic after the last 2 games?
Well, I mean, it's things are different every year, and we actually, I thought, had some outstanding games against them last year. They're a very good team, and I think the last couple of years they were, in my opinion, in the top 4 or 5 teams in the country. And you know what, those are going to be hard games, and when you look through their lineup last year, you'd say, well, they probably some of the best goaltending in the country, and their defense scores some of the best, and they're deep and old at forward. So, hey, you know what? We're trying to build our depth and some of our areas just like that. But that's another hump you got to go. We like I said, we've had some really good battles with them, and I think we've been in games, and but you got to get over that hump. And sometimes, hey, when you're playing a team that's had a little bit of success against you, that's what it takes. You got to punch through that, and sometimes the only way to get there is through it, and that's what we'll do.
Audrey. You're muted, Audrey.
Sorry. Hi, Coach Cole. Just wondering what, you mentioned Drew and his outstanding performance in the series that he had, but what was it that maybe impressed you the most when it came to how he played in the opening series for you guys? Yeah,
hey, I just, the thing we love about Drew is just he competes, and if something goes wrong, he doesn't get too affected, and he kind of just keeps battling through it. So I thought he was just real consistent. I think he was a little bit like the rest of the team. I think he was really good, and I don't want to put too much on him, but I think there's room there. I mean, he hasn't, he didn't play a lot of games last year either, and so he's kind of getting back in the saddle after quite a long time off. So I think there's some room there and just a comfort level. But I just thought he was real square to pucks. I thought he was good, and he got out and wasn't too deep in his net, and he handled rebounds fairly well, especially again for the first time a live action like that, and didn't give up a lot of second chances around the net off of some cheap rebounds. And that's a real important part, because the save percentage goalies have these days on the first shot's pretty darn good. So and give the defense some credit on that too. They cleared a lot out, but overall, yeah, I just liked how solid he was, how calm he was, and again, something goes wrong, Drew doesn't get too rattled. He just competes a little bit harder, and that's, like I said, it's a good attribute to have for a goalie.
I just was curious too, your thoughts on Munn being so quiet I mean, usually that place is rocking and people are glued to every shift and that kind of thing. So what was it like, when the goals were being scored and it was just kind of not what it usually would be?
Yeah, it's not. You're right. It's not as much fun. You don't get the feedback. You don't have the band and the students going and people jumping. And even from warm up when you come out on a, whether it's a season opener or where there's a lot of excitement around a game. So you had to create a little bit of that yourself. But I think once the guys settled in on the first night on Thursday, it didn't seem to take too much of a toll. And then really the second night you didn't think about it. And that's kind of a shame. But I thought the guys leveled in and they focused on the game. And like I said, you create your own excitement. So overall, I thought they did a nice job. And, we talked about it. We said, hey, the NHL guys were able to get through it. You guys can handle it. And, but, when we do get everyone back, I think it'll make it that much, sometimes you miss something when you don't have it. And, we certainly did. And I didn't know from my standpoint that's a good sense of pride of, how much fun Mun is building and how good our fans are. So yeah, we look forward to getting them back.
Thank you.
Rico.
Coach, I made things and you may have referenced this already, but I watched the game back on Saturday on Big Ten Plus, and it's a little thing, I guess, that I thought I saw, but your defensemen, when they were coming to bring the puck out of the zone, their heads were up and looking down the ice, maybe more than normal, than maybe last year, than just looking at their D partner or that forward that comes back, as a safety valve. Am I seeing things, or is that are they looking further down the ice?
Yeah.
Not just to their partner?
Well, you hope so. I mean, that's the way you teach them. And Coach Luongo spends an awful lot of time. And I think we do have some guys that have the ability to, to stretch the field, to borrow a football expression. And I think the other thing about that, Rico, is that I think our forwards, in terms of finding holes, and you always, you talk about that as you're coming up the ice, filling the 3 different lanes, and you can X and O it out and say, okay, you go here, and you go here, like chess. But option wise, if guys are just kind of moving and filling, Russian 5 were, the best at it, and just kind of finding that space. I think our forwards have done a nice job, and that makes it a little harder on the defense, and the D-men have to kind of keep their eyes on that. So hopefully that is something that's great. I'll pass that on to Lou. He'll be happy to hear. But we're trying to get him to look up there, and when we have a chance to attack, hit it hard.
Thanks.
Neil.
Yeah, and Ohio State seemingly has a different style than some of the other teams like Penn State, Michigan, Wisconsin, which like to attack and skate and go up tempo. How would you describe their style, and what would you say are the reasons that they've had the last 3 or 4 years pretty good success in the league and nationally?
Well, you know what? Hey, style-wise, I think that the way they play is a good way to play, and it's hard to say, hey, listen, they're really good on defense, or they're really good. I think their offense, or I just think they have a really nice balance to their attack, and I think they're a handful offensively, and they have been. If you look at the guys they had in their lineup last year, and then defensively, they're hard to get through. I mean, that's how I want our teams to be. I want to score some goals and be a pain to play against defensively, and just just a good tenaciousness out of it. So, and then when you get by that, they've had a 1-2 punch with their goaltenders the last few years. That's as good as anybody in the country. So, it's a well put together, well coached team, and I think they play all 200 feet of the ice, and you can't cheat the game when you play them. They're going.
What do you think? What makes Napier so good?
Stops a lot of pucks. I mean, he's big, he's quick. I think his hockey IQ is pretty good. I mean, he knows when to pop out of the net. He knows when to cheat the back door and do some things like that. And he does all the things that good goalies have to do. So no, he's been very, very good for him for a few years now.
Thanks, Dan.
All righty, everybody, all set? Good. Okay, we'll have a recording, and I'll email that out when I get it today. So,
all right, hey, just one last thing, just a little bump to welcome Coach Izzo and the basketball team back. We're looking forward to them playing, and hopefully he's feeling well, and the guys are too. So good to see him back.